Hey, it's Doom here. Dungeons and Doom Biscuits. I'm one half of the creative team that started DungeonSwag.com, miniature loot crate. For $15.99 a month, I think it is, you get 6, 7, or 8 beautifully sculpted miniatures delivered to your door. That includes shipping and everything. Comes with bases. Sometimes it comes with alternative weapon options. So it's got some different things, but the miniatures are beautiful. I love them. We started the business kind of like towards the middle of the pandemic, and we didn't really know what we were doing. And we've come a long way, and we've evolved, and we have top tier printers now, and we're using really sturdy resin. We went through some changes with resin over the years, but I'd love you to check us out. It's www.dungeon-swag.com. It'll be in the description. Beautiful miniatures. I actually have some down here like half painted and stuff, but I don't want to show like garbage ones. I can post some good ones of ones I've painted up. But today we're going to spend our short amount of time crafting. We're going to make some modular walkways to go between the buildings and stuff. And what we're going to do is we're actually going to make them wide enough that 2 minis can go on. So let me get something on a base here. Alright, so this guy's on a base. So we'll go about right there. We'll go about that wide. And we'll cut a couple of those about that wide. There we go. And I think I'm just going to eyeball it because, I'm not like super big into measuring. Now, our walkways are not necessarily going to be this long because we don't want them to be unsturdy. There are ways you can sturdy them up, but here on Dungeons and Doom Biscuits, I attempt to do things in such a way that they are not overwhelmingly boring. I don't want to spend 3 hours making some modular walkways. So we're not going to make our walkways the same either, I don't think. I have not decided. So I got some scissors here. I'm going to try to cut those into square-ish shapes. That was probably going to be a little bit wonky. Alright, so anyways. So what we're going to do here is we're going to first position these to sturdy this bad boy up, okay? Because just one piece of cardstock will bow the weight of miniatures. Now you could be clever and measure these squares to be about 1 inch and use them in a grid-like scenario, because we are also going to be able to angle these walkways. So what we want to make sure we don't do is let miniatures slide down them when they're angled. So we're going to have something to stop, which is, I have some toothpick deals here that we could use for that, or we could use sprues or any number of things really. Alright, so I would say that's a pretty fair length for a walkway. So we're going to whap that off on the end. And now, this way it's much sturdier, but this way it still bows. So what we want to do is we want to get a little bit of support there. So we're just going to do 2 strips. And and that is already much sturdier. However, if we want to put some heavier miniatures on there, that's going to be no bueno. So we're going to make some side panels here to stick up, and this is going to be, make those, I don't know, about that long, not that tall. They don't have to be perfect. So we're going to use these on the sides like this, right? And you're probably thinking, Doom, those won't stand up. And you are correct, they won't. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to figure something out. But first, let's get something that's going to stop miniatures from sliding. And we need a marking device of some sort here. One of my awesome Pilot G2 pens. Whoa, hot glue gun down, medic. And I turned it off. What a show off. I'm a multitasker, what can I say? Alright, so we're going to get this, and we're going to get just the tiniest string of glue. And it's so important that we make the biggest mess possible while we're doing this. Now, if you have a little bit of over glue stick out from underneath, which I did because I didn't make it the tiniest string of glue ever, you can just kind of come in here with your gun and clean that up a little bit. A lot of like doing stuff quickly is just when you make mistakes, instead of correcting them, sometimes you just kind of got to let them go and make them part of what you're doing. Don't always do that. I mean, that's not the best answer, but okay. That was not ideal. All right. Now, we'll make a couple different types of walkways, because you don't want all your walkways to be identical, or maybe you do. Now, hot glue is currently cooking into my thumb. Man, do I like that. Okay, so we don't really have too much sticking out on that one. Alright. So we're also going to put at the bottom and the top here, we're going to do the same thing. I'll add a little cardboard sticking out there. So that way, no matter which way you've angled this ramp when you set it up, it's not going to be an issue. Now, somewhere in my shop, in the shelves of bits and baubles, there are a ton of spikes from the end of these things, as throughout history I've been cutting them off and using them. And unless I actually took everything off of every shelf and took every container and looked in it, chances are we would never recover all those points from my crafting history here. Alright. See, even if I try to angle it to not shoot it, I still get shots. Alright, so we want our base, our edges to fit on like kind of like that, so let's get a little dab of glue on each of those. And then set it in place. and you want to try to have that at a 90-degree angle. Give it a second to relax, right? And then we're just going to get a little bit, and you're not really squirting it in the whole crevice here. You're just letting a little bit come out the tip, and then you're just going to rub it back and forth, because you don't want to make a giant 3D raised area. You just want enough to kind of hold it in place and not become a major focus of what we're building. And then we're going to cut the edges off, and we're going to do it like this. We're just going to roughly pick a 45-degree angle. Like that, alright? So, again, this is not like rocket science. We're not going for precision here. You can put as much time into measuring and perfection as you want. But my intent is to have some nice stuff for my tabletop that did not take forever to make. Alright, we're going to give that a second to sit. We'll grab this extra glue. It's popped out there. I'm going to hit these creases again like we did before. Oh, that one did not sit flush. Okay, there we go. Okay. And then we're going to do the same thing, roughly 45-degree angle. And if you kind of look down the barrel there, you can see where you're at and how close you are. It's close. It's close. Got a little bit sticking out over the edge. We don't want anything sticking out over the edge. Alright, so we can dress these a little bit better. So what we can do there is to make these a little sturdier even. Cut some thinner ones. And then we can just go down the side here. A little bit of extra glue we didn't want. And we're going to set these right up against it, flush as we can. Mush them into place. That bowed a little bit. That's alright. It's not perfect. The people who built this bridge were not professionals. They were treating it as if it was within the 5% margin for error for a government job, apparently. That's alright. That's alright. You know, maybe it was Imperials. Maybe they were in a hurry. Maybe they didn't care if the Ewoks were safe on their walkway. Or they didn't care if it was symmetric because they don't like the Wookiees to enjoy what they're looking at. Who knows? We don't know. Look at that. You got a little extra piece there. Didn't even ask for it. Alright. So our first walkway, we can put a miniature on it and it will not slide down. That was a bad example. He's kind of top heavy. But we can have that at a pretty decent angle. And that guy falls backwards, so he was just kind of one I picked. I'll get a heavy one too. So it's pretty good. You can set miniatures there, and unless they're really top heavy, they're not going to struggle. They're not going to fall. So I think there's only really one thing at this point we can do, and that's to get my super duper that guy that I use for everything until it's completely covered, and get some of our rivets. Alright, so we're getting a rivet, dabbing some glue. Remember what I said about starting at the end? You want to try to center it and make it equidistant from the end, as this one is, and then you center from there. Center. Well, you're going to see, we do this every time. So if you're new, write that down. I'm joking. You do not have to take copious notes to take something away from these videos, I think. Alright. Oh, I'm having all kind of problems here with these rivets today. Oh, there we go. Lost a rivet completely. Right into the glue lake. Alright. That's a problem. I mean, I should throw this on the floor at this point, but I'm so cheap that I'm just trying to salvage it. This little 0-cent bead from one of those little gem painting deals that we were talking about. Alright, then we want to center that the best we can. It's close. Close enough for what we're doing here. Alright, a little stringy there. Now we want to do the other side. Same deal. And then we'll set this walkway to the side and work on our next one. I don't know if you guys can see what I'm doing or not. I hope so. Since I have no production value whatsoever, we're just playing the guess everybody can see what I'm doing game. My production team of 1. My one son, I have 4 sons. My one son said to me, "Dad, I looked at some of your new videos, and compared to your old stuff, it's really boring." And I said, well, my old stuff was more so about collecting miniatures and playing D&D. My new stuff is about making trash useful. I work for one of the world's largest environmental firm. If I don't do a little upcycling, I'm letting everybody down. Alright, I'm looking for more of those bead gems that I use for studs. I found them. Again, I hit myself with a broom. Nicely done. Alright, so here's some more of those studs. And they come in just a little packet like this, and then the painting would tell you what color you had to put there, and then you would put them on the painting. I don't know. I'm not, like I said, I've not done one. So we have our first bridge done. Walkway, bridge, whatever you want to call it. Now let's work on our next one. So let's do this one different. Let's strengthen this one up first of all. And what we'll do to do that is, instead of doing 2 thin strips like we did on the last one, we will do this. Alright. Oh, my hot glue gun turned off. Is it still warm enough to use? Maybe. We'll see. No, it's going to need a second. It's not a problem. We'll use this time to tidy up what we're working on here. Alright. So, the intent is that I'm going to put this here. I'm going to put this here. I'm going to trim off the excess, thus making this a sturdier piece that does not bend. Alright? And then what we're going to do is, for our individual sections, we're going to get this piece here. I'm going to cut a bunch of lengths. Can you guys see that? Yeah, okay. Alright. That might be enough. The good news is I know where there's some more if we need to cut more a bit here. So our gun's heated up. There we go. That's the stuff. Alright. So now we're going to take this piece and put it on here. We're going to make our bridge this way. Now this one we might or might not need to put railings on. Sometimes they look decent without railings. Sometimes you just feel like a railing is the way to go. Now remember that conversation we had about centering rivets? Well, we are going to do the same thing on this guy, but with our slats going across here. This bridge might have way more rivets. I'm feeling like this is going to need a lot of rivets. So we want to try to center that the best we can. And again, sometimes stuff won't be perfect. Sometimes it will. It's more often than not it won't be. And I'm okay with that. So we're going to do these things the same way. Center the best we can. Now, chances are with this one, if we want miniatures to not be sliding, that is not going to be adequate, I would guess, to stop a sliding mini. No, it doesn't look like it. So what we're going to do is we're going to figure out something about that. I don't know what yet. We're not going to do sides on this one. I don't think. Nah, it doesn't need railings. But what we could do is take advantage of those elevations that are on there. Do some kind of railings that are not solid structure. So let's get something here. These are from, there's like these little plastic crappy beads from like the Dollar Tree or somewhere. I'm not sure where exactly. We can just go down here. Put a decent sized dab of glue. Get that bad boy on there moved around a little bit and solid. Or maybe it's a bad girl. I didn't lift the skirt and check. So I know you're thinking, oh Chris, you rebel. You glued both of those at once. Well, you're right. This one is formed poorly, so we will not be using that for this. Okay, that one has a problem with its molding too. No worries. I think it was like $1.25 for a whole bunch of these. If I'm not mistaken, it has been a while. So even if some of them are bunk and we can't use them, it'll be alright. Alright, we got a lot of spider webs. There are actually almost no spider webs down here because my wife does not like spiders. So if I do not get rid of spiders and spider webs, she will not come in my shop and visit me while I'm doing stuff. Alright, same deal. We're coming back across. Glue, glue, railing, pull it tight, push it down on the beads, not in the middle parts or you'll make bows in it. And come back and get your little excess glues. There you go. So we're going to do the same thing again. Glue, 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 goose. Haha! That's old school. What do you know about that? Alright. We're going to cut these off. And then we're going to determine if we need studs. Get my handy dandy spider web remover. Where do they go when you do that? Well, you go to spider web hell. That's not a very nice place. So it's pretty sturdy, yeah, pretty easy to make, yeah. Do we need rivets? Well, yes, we do. Why? I don't know why, my friends. I just really like rivets on my future stuff. Oh, spider webs. So I didn't even really think of something on the first one. On the bottoms of these, we're going to have something to put down so that when you lean them against buildings, they don't slide around. Like a little ledge or something on the bottom. And that's something I think we can make pretty easy that we're not going to put a lot of effort into. My brain's already twirling. It's starting to steam and go into overtime trying to figure out how we're going to do that. Oh, I lost a bead. Right in this stupid glue. All right. My buddy and I were talking, and he asked what I was doing, and I said, well, I gotta get home today. I'm not gonna hang around because I'm making a YouTube video. And he asked about it. He's played D&D with me before and stuff back in the day. Well, believe it or not, when I told him I was making videos, he said I'm probably not gonna watch them. That's fine. Alright. I never know what to talk about during these slow parts. I could, I guess, in theory, be grown up and edit them out, but then if it takes me over my hour of creation time that I want to spend, building and painting these, that's not cool, because I just want to really limit how much I commit to this. Oh, you peck. Caught myself. I almost said a bad word. And that's glued to me. For those of you that are like, man, this dude is really slow at putting on rivets. Sometimes I am, you are right. I guess the question for this project is, do we have time for a third walkway? How long have we been recording this one? Oh, you bad word. Can't get it on there. Might be a loss, my dudes. I can't get this. There we go. That's where you live. Alright. That's 2 walkways. And I think we're just going to stick with 2. So we talked about on the bottoms of these, we need to put something so that if it's sitting between 2 buildings, it kind of rests. So I don't really have a plan exactly. So let's look at my stuff here and see what I got. I don't want to use anything you guys might not have. That's kind of the big thing is I don't want to put you guys in a situation where you don't have it. So I'm going to assume you guys probably have tongue depressors since you can steal them from the doctor's office for free. I would make these probably 1.5 inches-ish so that there's enough bite. Alright, so we got 2 walkways. We'll need 4 of these. We're going to set these up about 1 inch in. We're going to try to get them as 90 as we can. And we're just going to kind of stabilize them with glue. Just a little bit up and down on there to hold it in place. We don't want it to be hideous. So we're going to get our secret weapon. Fire, fire. Sorry. Used to watch quite a bit of Beavis and Butthead. I'm from that generation. Again, we're going to come about 1 inch. And the only reason I say about 1 inch is because I don't measure anything. Very seldom do I do any real measuring. Alright, so speaking of about 1 inch, let's check. Alright, so we said about an inch, right? That's drying still. Well, that was a little bit over an inch, so this one probably is too. Yep. So those were like 1 1/8. But it'll work. You know, we just want it to be sturdy enough that when we lean it against a building, it doesn't slide. Also, you know, if we need to use it elevated as a platform for a fight or something, well, it's right there and ready to go. Alright, so this has that weird shape. And we have the same thing we're trying to accomplish. So I think what I want to do here is I want to try to... Nope, that didn't work. Not a bit. Alright. That is not the plan. Alright. La 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 la. It's getting good and sticky. That's what she said. There we go. All right. So we're going to take these away. We're going to prime them. We are going to come back and paint them. So thank you very much for watching. I'll see you very soon in part 2.